basically three things that a township can do right now. You can do nothing and leave the ordinance you had in place. Then they can automatically go to Lansing and bypass the township. Short of that, there's two other ways you can go.
Okay, just a moment, Steve. I was just brought, we should open the public hearing first.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to open the public hearing. It is right now 7:35.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Which public hearing are you opening?
This is the first one.
Because the first one is.
It says, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance. Just a moment. Right here. No, it says zoning to regulate utility scale battery energy. So that'll be the first one that we open. So we got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
So, Mr. Charles and David. So now he's going to explain the 3 points.
Okay, my apologies, everybody. Three things that a township can do right now. You can do nothing, which puts the governor and Lansing in charge, which is what they want, which is the worst for the residents. You can make a CREO. A CREO is a way that you show that you're going to generate the amount of megawatts of power in your township that they're asking for in some way other than the wind or solar projects proposed. Third avenue is the overlay district through Foster and Swift. I have been very involved. I was the Bay County chairman for the petition drive early this year to try and get that awful law struck and removed from the ballot. We needed about 450 signatures, 450,000 signatures across the state. We got about half that many. The only bright spot was about 7,000 of them came from Bay County, I'm proud to say. It was great here. But it's a little bit of a chess match, Keith. It really is. But it's a law that shouldn't have happened. I'm hopeful that the lawsuit's going to help us. Also hopeful, everything I see, the new Trump administration says one of their goals for the first 100 days is to get away from Sleepy Joe's disastrous green energy policy. So let's hope, because if they were to take if you took the government subsidy away on industrial wind turbines, no utility will ever build another one. So it's that simple, folks. With a little luck, the federal government may fix this for us. If not, the townships have got to dig in and battle the best they can for the residents. Any questions? Does that help? Yes, sir.
Can you clarify or speak to more of the 300 feet from the nearest point on the outer wall? So is that my house? Is that occupied structure? Is it my garden shed? Is it,
Property line?
property? Well, it's not property line, because the original was property line, I think, 500 feet from the property.
The original, under the governor's rules on solar, it's 50 feet from your property line.
Our township was 500, I think.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, from the property line. So this, is going to bring it in substantially more, depending where your house is on your property. And is it my house, or,
Can you help me with that, Charles?
is that too, my garage would give me an extra 50 feet.
I know the beaver ordinance inside out. I'm still learning ours, so some of those specifics I may not have perfect.
If this give me a second, I'm actually looking at battery storage.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at case 233 right now.
Yes.
And it says on solar, 300 feet from the nearest point of the outer wall, which would be residence, or 50 feet from the property line. That's the state's definition.
From the state?
PA 233.
Okay. Did you?
Yeah, I'm just, looking to you know, I fully expect it to go in behind my house, and.
Well, we're hoping that doesn't happen.
We're trying, like in the case of this first, it's 3 separate hearings. The first one is talking about battery storage. And the battery storage, it makes comment on what the ordinance paperwork was off to the side, giving you a hint as to what the modification is. And it's real clear that it says, where solar is permitted, PCs need to discuss. The UBIS are permitted in townships only as special land use or special approval to the AR, Ag, Rural Residential, or C2, Highway Commercial, R1, Single Family Residential. So it just gives us a note that that's one of the concerns. And C, there's so much in this. The setback on here, it points out occupied community buildings and dwellings on non-participating properties 300 feet from the nearest point on the outer wall is what we're putting in place. The governor's saying 50 feet. We're saying no. Now,
But we need a definition of what the outer wall is.
right.
You know.
It says occupied community building and dwelling on non-participating properties. So where your house is, take the back wall, where say there's a field behind your home.
So it's saying, if you go down to the next one, it's saying 50 foot measured from the nearest shared property line.
Says-
Non-participating part.
Here, no, the next piece is public road right-of-ways.
Yeah.
And then it says 50 feet measured to the nearest edge of a public road right-of-way. Then it goes on, non-participating parties, 50 feet measured from the nearest shared property line.
Yeah. So the question still is 300 feet from the nearest point on the outer wall. His outer, my outer wall could be my house, and then 300 foot could still be my property.
The building has to be occupied.
I live there.
Okay. But we're not, it's not garage or shed, it's your house.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's all what I'm saying is somebody, you know, has a long piece of property that they own that their house is on. If
Well, mine's
they have more than 300
365
foot in
feet
their
deep.
backyard, you know, I don't know. It's vague, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I figured it was around this.
I would read it as both apply, that it's 50 feet from the property line unless your house is closer to the property line. So if your house is 50 feet from the property line, then it has to be 300 feet from your house. They're both inclusive. Based on what I
Okay, before I leave, this is my second one that I've been through.
We thank you for coming.
I was out in Richland Township for a meeting very similar to this. Their biggest issues were the noise. Do you have a decibel count that they're giving you?
Yes.
It's the same attorneys that were out in Richland Township, 50 megawatts, 60, whatever it is. These things hum, people, they hum. On a sunny day, they buzz.
Battery storage, you mean, sir?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
extremely loud.
You know, the inverters are humming, and the second thing is your reclamation project, okay? In your ordinance, it's gonna say that the ground has to be returned to its, present condition that it is right now before they started, right? That means that they have to tear everything out, all the cables, all the posts, all the panels, right? So the life of those panels, they lose their life expectancy. Every year they lose 5% of their effectiveness. So in 20 years, the whole thing's going to need to be replaced.
Yeah.
Okay? So how do you guarantee that your reclamation happens? Do you get a bond? Does it go into escrow?
Bond is what our current system states.
That was the big topic the
We're
last
not-
place I was at.
We are not doing away with the township's current ordinance. We are only doing an overlay for items that are not addressed or making adjustment. So here's the deal. We could say, oh, let's not worry about it, let it go. And
No?
they'll go to Lansing, and if you looked at any of the maps, it will blow you out of the water. Because on that side of the highway, that land, basically, if it's a farm, including my grandfather's old farm, will all be solar because they've all signed leases, which is rather remarkable. But some people have the mentality it's free money. It's not free money if it destroys the environment God gave us, and you can't eat a solar panel.
That's what I say.
We need food-producing farms. And so we are not, the most important thing is we're not disposing our current ordinance. But we have to make sure, if it's classified as excessive, the fight's over. Go home, put your house up for sale, because we can't do a thing. Because they will go to Lansing, and plain and simple, I would look at, in my case, the land right behind my house is in a solar lease, and that means pretty much my house sits more to the front, so there's 200 feet from my house to the back line. Guess what? You got solar panel or storage right there. That's not what we want. So we're trying to go with the lesser of all evils in this case. Because I listened, last thing I like is an extra meeting. And I went to the meeting, which I wanted to understand. And it was a meeting, Zoom, with Foster Swift explaining this so we could understand this. So if we do nothing, inadvertently, we have chosen for the state of Michigan to dictate who, what, when, and where. I'm sorry, I don't buy into that mentality. I believe we must do something. And so, and like I said, this lawsuit that Mr. Page brought up is a very valid point, and we are part of that. To say the governor overreached, let's reverse this.
Yep.
And with that in mind, if and when that's complete, this could all go away because it's an overlay, but the original ordinance stays. The original ordinance stays. That's why they call this an overlay. And I believe that's the best, because a lot of work went into that original ordinance. And, it was a very hot spot when it happened. So I was excited when Leslie at Foster Swift explained how we could guarantee not to get walked on. Is it perfect? Nothing's perfect.
Is there time?
Could you state your name up here, please?
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
On behalf of St. Bartholomew, thank you.
Be blessed.
You'll be proud.
Oh, we already are. It's an excellent school.
Yeah, now we have to remember. Oh, yes. Kelly Larrabee, 1392 East Lee Road. Is there still time to get more people involved in that lawsuit, or is it done?
The lawsuit's already filed.
So nobody else can join it?
You mean townships?
Yeah, townships.
Your last name, can you spell it?
Larrabee, L-A-R-I-B-E.
There's 70 now.
There's 79 municipalities in the lawsuit, but it has been closed as far as no more can join on that lawsuit.
Are there any other comments? Are there any other comments? Are there any?
Once, twice. I'm sorry, Joel Corey over here on Perry Road. The wording, I know it's all from a law firm and all of that, but I sure wish instead of occupied community buildings and dwellings, I wish they would state residents, or, maybe, like very definitely it's a house, like, residence. to me, it's like, what's a community building, and, what's a dwelling? I guess it's a house, residence.
House, residence, I believe business. Anything that can breathe and move, basically.
Yeah, the same, the outbuilding.
Yeah.
You got your workshop, worker shop. The definition's kind of vague.
Well, they did that intentionally. I can assure
Probably.
you.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
keep us
because
confused.
we're trying to make stricter the ordinance, the more power Lansing has. So there's a certain amount of ambiguity here, I think that's the right word, so that the people will look at this. We already had somebody ask if we'll get setbacks. I received a message, and it's on that side of the highway, and the guy the company wants to put the solar panels in, a small scale operation, and they want a modification to setbacks. 300-foot setback is still a substantial setback compared to what has happened in other districts. So, are there any other comments? Once, twice, public hearing is closed.
Vote on that.
So, right now it is 7:53. Somebody want to make a motion to close the public hearing?
Yes, I make a motion to close this public hearing.
Second.
Roll call.
To approve the amendment.
This is a roll call vote to approve. Right. Ordinance to amend the zoning or regulate utility scale battery energy storage systems. Motion is made. Deb?
Say that again, what it is?
This is in reference to utility scale battery energy storage systems. To approve.
To close or to?
Close. To close.
To close. Okay, yeah. Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Matt? Yes. Charles, yes. Okay. I would make a motion to accept this ordinance and this is an addition of new section 530 to the zoning ordinance. So it says right here at the top. So I make the motion and I'd like to second that. I'll second. Okay. Dan?
Yes.
Matt? Yes. Charles, yes. Deb?
Yes.
Okay. The next one. Public hearing is closed at 7:53. So, next. Public hearing, ordinance to amend zoning ordinance regarding wind energy conversion systems under PA 233. So, open the hearing at 7:55. And we're looking at ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance regarding wind energy. Amendment of section 528 of the zoning ordinance. And it goes on to anybody, public comment? Vote to open the, so I'm, okay, opening, I make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anybody have any comments in reference to regarding wind energy conversion systems? Anybody have any comments in reference to twice? Anybody have any comments in reference to 3 times? Okay. Make a motion to close the public hearing.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call vote. Matt? Yes. Oh, we gotta make a motion to accept it, correct? So, are you making the motion, I guess, to accept the wind energy? Make a motion to close. We just closed it. So now, we make a motion to approve. Make a motion to approve the wind energy.
I will second that.
Charles, yes. Deb?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Matt? Yes. And then we have another public hearing in reference to ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance regarding solar energy systems under PA 233. And that amendment is specific of section 529. And by an addition, the new subsection C, which was posted. Open the hearing at 8 o'clock. Second that.
I will second.
Okay. Deb?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Matt? Yes. Charles, yes. Okay. My watch says 8 o'clock, so, anybody have anything they would like to say in reference to zoning ordinance regarding solar energy systems under PA 233? Going once.
I'd just like to say I like the explanation of the overlay, because if we don't need the overlay, it goes back to
Correct.
what it was originally, which
That's what's so important as to how this is being done. We're not doing away with our ordinances. They still are there, but it's like they have a shadow over them so that they can't just walk down there. They have to come and talk to us. I think that's really important, because that's about the only way to protect our land. So important. Going once? Yes, sir. Can you, can you name?
Eric Naylor, 1721 North Buffalo. Just kind of concerned or questioning, I don't want to say questioning, are we doing the right thing here as far as following along with the lawyers, as far as protecting the township? My first question is, who determines what's excessive with your zoning? Who's the determining factor? I was trying to familiarize myself with the PA 233, but I'm a little bit behind on it. So it doesn't really spell out that I saw the determining body on excessive zoning. So
That's the Public Service Commission.
Public Service Commission, so we can't trust them.
I wouldn't trust them, but
It's three governor appointees, Eric. Three people.
that's the scary part. When Lansing, first off, they should have never gotten involved. Every governmental body put a lot of time into this. But now, all of a sudden, we don't matter. And I think we should matter.
So would it behoove the township to, with your overlay, play within their rules, but within other safeguards? Or is that already in place with our existing zoning? I'm not 100% familiar with what existing.
We're not changing our zoning.
Right. I understand that the overlay is just a legal tool to do this, right?
It's a tool to make sure
Right.
that they have to stop and call college first.
Right.
And if we do nothing, they can go to Lansing and do whatever they want.
So without the overlay, they can bypass completely.
100%. That is actually the most upsetting.
Because we're not being like excessive as far as the overlay.
It's still a very stringent guideline with this overlay. Because I don't know about you, but if you got a piece of land, it was 300 feet here, 300 feet there, it was 300 feet there, and 300 feet there. When you get all done, you just lost a lot of land. So, when you look from that, because like right now, you lose 1,000 feet, you're still losing 600. That's not anything to, and I can assure you, if they'd have lost 600 feet down on M13, that wouldn't be there. No way. Because they literally are all the way out to where the swales are that catch the road water. Which to me, when I saw that, was like, really? M13 south of Birch Run. As you're going down, it'll blow you right out of the water. Because, and I got pictures of it. I got a phone here, you can take a look at them. It's so disgusting. And they didn't just put in one field. Miles.
Go look at Mackinac and going towards Delta. There's one right out there.
But I want to make sure that, you know, I look out my back window, I would prefer not having solar panels at all. If you want green energy, you should have put in hydro. You should have fixed the 3 dams, and we'd have had all the power we needed in the district,
Yeah.
but they chose not to. But that's only my comment. I take it back. So
what about further protections if we do get trampled?
Well,
how does the township protect itself?
Guess what?
Protect its residents.
when we have done this, that means we're trying to be reasonable. So then we can actually go and we can go to the Public Service Commission and there can be a hearing, from what I understand. Am I right? shake your head, okay? From what I understood, there could be a hearing down there, and actually, if we have a lawyer that goes to represent us, and we would be the only one hypothetically on that argument, then they would have to help pay for part of our legal bills, from what I understood in that very first meeting in Beaver.
There's $75,000 put up by the state, not per municipality, per project. So like this DTE project here in Bay County, that 75 grand would get split across 6 townships. So it's a drop in the bucket, you know. You don't buy much legal for
No.
$75,000.
No, but there's still something there that can, you know, otherwise there's nothing. And the last thing, I think, is we don't want this ending up in any of our backyards. Okay.
My concern is protection, that if we do get trampled, how do we,
Yeah, the only thing
how do we deal with it? I mean,
That's
is there
the only
things
thing I know is
slip?
we can then take, if we get trampled, then you have to go to the Public Service Commission, and each party states their case, and it goes from there. The Public Service Commission then gives their ruling, because if we don't do it, Public Service Commission is guaranteed to say it's excessive. Guaranteed.
The attorney at Foster Swift that will be arguing this case, he's won